Yeah, as you can see, another day of chemtrailing. Hazy skies. I think they're getting desperate now, getting pretty worried. Had a bit of a dodgy night last night, frequency attacks. Just the feel wasn't too bad, but it's a different kind. It was like it just made me feel sick all night. Strange. Other times it's been like just intense, like sapping all the moisture from your body, but last night it was like a poison, like made me feel real disorientated and sick. So obviously playing around with different frequencies. Not liking the fact that I'm uploading all of Ascension's work with the Ascension teachings. It's kind of been hidden away for the last 20 years. It's funny, I only found it at the beginning of this year, and I've been watching her latest updates on her website they have to pay for, and she's like, with what's happening with the grids and the energies being anchored here, it's all very positive, so things are going to start shifting. And she actually alluded to starting to release some of the materials into the public domain, as if like the people are ready for it. And it's funny because I've beaten her to it and a few other channels, but I found this guy's media share file of all her work, and I was like, I can't not upload this stuff on my other channel, Stellar Prince 3311. So I turned 33 end of this month in 2022. And what's interesting, what she says, we're in this bridge zone, which basically means that the next 1011 years, we're kind of propped up where souls who choose to want to ascend can ascend and get out of the phantom and full four matrices before they're severed completely from the organic krystic timeline, so they can't feed off us anymore. And that brings us to 3033 AD in 2022. So you got the 222s, 333s, and the 111s. I mean, if that isn't divine will, I don't know what is. But it's been planned ever since ancient Atlantis this time, so it's obviously all coded mathematically in the years, dates and stuff like that, so it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's a gorgeous day. It's just a shame you got all this haze from the chemtrails. They're panicking, so they're coming from a place like the guys, these souls and stuff who, you know, haven't defected. They're gonna, you know, they know that their existence is going to be finite. So they're trying so desperately hard to pull apart as many grids and parts of Earth and the souls on it into their matrix systems to feed on until inevitably they get returned, as Asciano refers to it, as space dust, where the memory matrix is wiped, so they won't have any identity anymore. So they're able to be reabsorbed and reused, but in a more mathematically friendly template, i.e. the Christ way of life, in harmony and balance, vibrations. So yeah, it's a very important year, 2022. Got a lot of the pulses, like the trumpet pulses they're called in the Book of Revelations, which are otherwise these ET regressive Metatron scalar wave trumpets. That started back in the end of 2016, which is interesting because the Great Sign of Heaven appeared in like 2017, albeit 1 year out, but they release around November time, which is when, you know, the sun's in Scorpio, which is quite interesting, again talking about the link with Scorpio there. And they go every year, but what the Guardians have done is they release like a chevron burst in May following the release in the previous November to catch up with it and diffuse it. So what these trumpet pulses are designed to do is to recode the grids of the Earth to help pull it into a wormhole, so it can suck the whole Earth and all the other worlds up to like dimension 11.5 into a phantom and full four matrix for them to feed off of. So the Guardian Alliance's trumpet bursts, which is their kind of counteractive scalar wave technologies, are catching up with it before it kind of reaches its peak, where it kind of bellows out like a trumpet, end of a trumpet, and collapses it. and diffuses it so it can't be used to, you know, make this wormhole. Because the fatali, this is all actually Anna Dean's channeling from the Guardians, who are residing up into like the 15th dimension and beyond, into the God worlds, so that they can see down through all dimensions and densities and see exactly what's going on. And she's just like a medium for them. It's quite incredible, some of the work that's come out through her based on that. But these fatalities' agenda was to crash the moon, like open up this wormhole between the Earth and the moon, and crash the moon into the Earth, similar to the movie Moonfall. I don't know what that's about, but that's obviously, well, it's obviously about the moon crashing into Earth, I think. But I need to go see that movie. It's obviously full of symbolism. I think one of my mates seen it, and he's like, oh, you'll love that. It's full of symbolism, like all these stuff. But that's what he wanted to do, is to crash the moon into Earth, and then, yeah, basically create like a rip in the space-time fabric, and this wormhole just be stuck in Earth, as well as all of the stargates connected to it, dimensioning up through the densities up to dimension 11. So basically pull in four harmonic universes worth of life energy for them to feed off of. But thanks to the Guardians and like the divine intervention, it's not happened. So things could be far worse. Even though we have been, you know, stuck right in the middle of this invisible war, especially the star seeds, attacked psychically, fucking frequencies and all their psychotronic weapons and shit like this implanted, it could be far worse. So it's only, you know, good things are coming. But it seems to be, I think 2025 is when the final trumpet pulses are cleared, and from that point forwards it's going to be a lot clearer. There's not going to be as much of this interference with the end times agenda, and the interference in terms of these fucking regressive technologies. But we'll have to wait and see, because these guys will do anything. You know, you're talking about souls who have lost connection with source, and who basically have to eat to survive. That's their modus operandi, is to seek and destroy and devour worlds and consume them like a parasite, a virus basically. So yeah, still got to stay guarded. But yeah, we've got obviously 22nd of the 2nd 2022 is Pluto returns from when America was founded in 1778, bringing with it a lot of energetic disruption, destruction and rebirth in the political structure, in the political arena. In the political arena, all that is the Anunnaki battling it out against the Drax, and that's the kind of hidden war. So a lot of these fallen matrix systems, they just battle between one another, and it seems to be like the humans and the Guardians are like stuck in the middle of all this crap. But the reason why humans are so important is because we carry the DNA code in order to unlock the stargates, which is why they've infiltrated a lot of these worlds with the human seeding, especially the Earth, where obviously all the stargates are within the universal Templar grid, which basically is the planets that connect vertically into the densities. There's pretty much stargates in every planet, so you can travel horizontally amongst the universe that you're in, from planet to planet, these stargates. But there's only one planet in each harmonic universe that is linked in to one planet in star system that's actually linked into being able to travel vertically up the densities into different harmonic universes. So, you know, this is why Earth has been prime real estate, and the reason why they come in, infiltrate, and they try to use their kind of their races, the regressive races, breed them and breed them and hybridize them with the human angelics in order to run enough of the human angelic print to try and gain control of the stargates without kind of defecting completely and going, you know, back into the Christ way. So that's why a lot of these Illuminati races, they're susceptible to manipulation through these like shadow dances and possession, because they have come from a fallen matrix, which means that mathematically in their DNA code and genetics, they have like windows basically to the beings, the fallen souls from the entities from those matrices they came from, which makes them easily manipulated through their energy fields, and can even push their souls out of their body, be open to possession. And that's how these guys work. It's how the Fitani work. People talk about like an invasion with the sky, with UFOs coming. it's not. It's all done through body snatching, and currently a lot of people have been body snatched in the higher echelons of society, the elite and the cabal and the political structure, and probably a lot of friends and family, to be honest, and you just don't know, because they can access their memory matrix and appear completely normal, but or otherwise a shadow dancer from one of these fallen matrices. But regardless, the energies that are coming in astrologically can't be ignored. Pluto returning, huge energy, huge shift there, and obviously, you know, 2022 and everything that's seems to be happening with what was written in the Bible, the book of Revelations, the 1,000 years of peace, this 1,000 years of bridge zone that's been created in order to provide a platform for Earth, preventing it from falling, basically. So it's like a halfway point between, okay, the fallen systems and us now doing the work over the next 1,000 years in order to learn about Ascension, mechanics, the Merkaba, our energy fields, you know, these Stargate systems, and our true history, which otherwise everything that Ashiana Dean's been teaching with freedom teachings, with the Azurite press and stuff, so we can actually go back into developing the correct coding, the krystic coding, in order to re-emerge with the krystic organic timelines of the universes, so we can ascend naturally and evolve, co-evolve naturally with all the other races, and kind of be, you know, brought back into harmony with everything and everyone. And obviously with that will come our memory of who we are. So a lot of us may have just been here for this stellar activation cycle. Some of us may have been stuck here ever since ancient Atlantis. So we don't know, unless you've got access to your memory, what your story is, but all that will become available. If not in this lifetime, it will be, you know, in your next reincarnation, next reincarnations, as you come into this knowledge. And so yeah, it's exciting times, but still got to stay protected. But yeah, I watched The Matrix as well the other week. And that was quite interesting, because it showed this concept of body snatching, in terms of, you know, how everyone's like plugged in, and when you're plugged in, you're more susceptible, obviously, to being used by the Metatronic AI overlord of that system, which is otherwise portrayed by that actor who's out of How I Met Your Mother, Barney. He's otherwise like the AI, the architect, so to speak. But when they possess the people in there, in the Matrix, their eyes turn black, which is like obviously indicative of the black goo assimilation. And what was interesting, 2 months prior to the Matrix being released, I had a dream where I saw portals open up and hordes of humans come out of black eyes on it. I think I called it black-eyed demon hordes coming through these portals. You can go back from my videos and see that. But it's all very symbolic with obviously what's happening, what's going on with this infiltration of body snatching. And that was obviously portrayed in my dream. I had a vision, and also in the Matrix, and also with the Guardians, with Ashiana's work, with, you know, how they work through these distort templates. And what I believe the vaccine has done is allowed the mathematics and the gene code to be kind of changed in order to be more aligned with the Metatronic coding, so these souls can tap into them a lot easier. So it's kind of like creating a lock for a key that will fit in order for them to gain access to their bodies and their kind of energy fields a lot easier, so they're easily manipulated and can be used on the ground. It's almost like a fucking player in a video game, quite literally, like an avatar. So that's exactly what the fuck is going on. And also another thing I noticed with the Matrix is that the when Neo was sat there chatting to the architect, who was otherwise his kind of shrink, you know, convincing him that he's not in a simulation and everything's okay with all the things he was seeing, which is quite funny, quite ironic. Behind his left shoulder was the blue and black butterfly, which is the exact same butterfly that flew out the back of my head one time, back in 2020, late 2020 I think it was, after like heavy nights of frequency attacks. And that was when I was going through my 2 months of hell, basically, of being put under the cosh, psychic attacks, psychotronic attacks, fucking everything that was happening, getting out of body, seeing all these entities, casting demons out of my house. it was like a, you know, express lesson in defense against the dark arts. But I don't know how I managed to hold up, but I did. So I just believed in myself, But yeah, that was quite interesting. Blue and black butterfly, the Ulysses, that was there. So that was all symbolic, you know, MK Ultra, with the technologies these fucking regressives use. Because they look down on Earth. You could think this place has been set up specifically to farm souls and to fucking, you know, keep us dumbed down so they can keep using us, in order to try, you know, when this final stellar activation cycle came, this final conflict drama, they can pull everyone in. So they kind of, this is like it literally is like an ant farm. We've been squished, compressed so much that we're like fucking a tenth of the size of what we normally are, have, you know, probably a tenth of the abilities that we normally have. The carbon-based 666 atomic structure, which is just the mathematics they run, which is metatronic, because we're all silicate based naturally. That's the core 12 DNA core template is silicate based, and we've been like squashed. We're literally a carbon copy, 666, 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons, down here. And so this is part of the rescue mission of the high indigo souls and starseeds. When you incarnate here, you actually bring some of that higher coding into Earth, which transfers and communicates to the grids and everything around it, even the other souls, which a lot of starseeds and people walking around probably don't even realize because they haven't woken up yet. But the vaccines are a problem, because I think they're otherwise blocking the natural activation of the DNA from this stellar activation cycle. Whether it can be reversed or not, who knows? I believe it can. Morphogenetically, anything can be recoded mathematically. But Ascension and the team seem to think that once you're past a certain point, so you haven't got, you know, less than 30% krystic blueprint left, so you've got more than 61% metatronic, it's irreversible basically. So it's just a matter of the proportions of how many people have been metatronicked, and haven't got enough krystic blueprint left in them to be able to, you know, withstand being body snatched. They've been sucked into a full matrix. Because yeah, the next 1,000 years we're going to see a lot of polarity dramas unfold as the two timelines split. So the organic krystic timeline and then the phantom fall timeline. So expect, you know, a lot of drama surfacing on the Earth, outpicturing, but on, you know, on the flip side, there's going to be a lot of positive changes happening. But the divide's going to become more obvious. I think more and more people are going to wake up and do away with these governments, but they're going to act desperate in retaliation to try and, you know, hold on to their power. So they might go to extreme measures, create World War III, etc. Even though we're kind of in it, but it's just like otherwise an invisible war, where they use like frequency weapons and you know, mind control techniques through the masses, psychological operations with, you know, COVID, which is what the Fatalia they're behind it, which the Fatalia basically are just a group of regressive interdimensionals, entities and extraterrestrials who are the worst of the worst, apparently the most cleverest, the most damnest. Basically the guys don't really want to be dealing with, but they're here. They've been pulled out. But hey, you know, calm seas never made for a skilled sailor. So, you know, the best always brings out the worst, and vice versa. You can only be like, you know, think about boxing and stuff, and sports people, you only perform your best. You can only get the best out of you when there's someone who's a kind of, you know, a fitting match in order to push your extreme abilities, or your abilities to the extreme, to see how good you really are. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. But what else? Don't think there's anything else to update. Just keeping a watch out, basically, keeping an eye on things, looking out the window. Deleted my news apps. I don't feed these fucking liars like BBC and stuff like that. They're just all lies. Obviously look at it with the convoy, the freedom convoys, how they're trying to paint the picture with that, with the people rising up against the ridiculous draconian measures and these mandates to make them look like terrorists and Nazi supporters when they're not. They're just peacefully protesting. So I think their game's up. Their pants are well and truly pulled down by their ankles, and the Emperor's got no clothes on. It's just going to be a matter of time. But yeah, this year's going to be a good year. Good energies coming through. And obviously now and again you get the odd day of attacks. There's another little chemtrail going across. But it's all part and parcel of the journey. And I think it could be far worse. Like I said, we just got to bear with. take your energy, keep doing the spiritual work, keep gaining the knowledge, sharing, follow your dream, do what makes you happy, and keep your energies high. And it's really as simple as that. Old soul, that's Stargate 4. So that's where souls descend down in order to come into Earth. Amazing. All this is going to be coming back. But yeah, peace out. Speak soon.